Hey everyone, this is Ella. Welcome to the Fireplace podcast. We're here with IZORA. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah, we had you yesterday, and we wanted to have you back here to for you to talk a little more about yourself and introduce yourself and let the people watching know who you are.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here.
Absolutely.
And it was amazing playing for you yesterday. I had such a good time, and you guys are amazing.
Yes, no, it was great. I love your songs, which we're going to talk about your songs a little later because I want to know everything about you and everything about, you know, your songwriting process as well. So yeah, so tell us about yourself.
I'm going to tell you everything. Okay, so I'm IZORA, like Ella just said, and I'm 20 years old. And I'm a singer-songwriter from India, and I've been here in LA for about a year and a half now.
Okay.
And I make like alternative music mainly, like kind of similar. My inspirations would be like Lana Del Rey, Billie Eilish, Lorde, people like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet. Yeah, I mean, I would love to know just how you started. How did you start your career in music, and like what inspired you to start music and like even to come to LA? Like, do you have you definitely have a story, so we want to hear it. So I just keep talking.
Everyone has a story. You're fine. Well, so apparently, according to my mom, I've been singing ever since I was like born, low-key. And she would tell me, actually, a fun fact, that when she was pregnant with me and my dad would play like some good like rock music, because my dad's like a huge music lover.
Nice.
And I would like kick her and like on the beat from the womb. And I was like, that's bullshit, but I'm going to believe you.
You're like, yeah, I didn't do that.
Yeah, I don't really remember doing that. I just remember being really cozy. I know, fuck, I don't remember any of that. I'm playing. But I've been singing. I used to like hum everything that I would hear and sing along to like everything my parents would play.
Nice.
And I remember like when I was, I think in first grade or something, or like a little before, my parents started making me sing when they had friends over. They'd be like, oh my God, why don't you sing us a song, you know?
Show you off.
Yeah, and I probably sounded like really horrible, but it's fine. Like that encouraged me, and I would be scared shitless, Ella. Like I would literally, I would be like, oh my God, I have to sing. And it would be so scary. But apparently I've been singing ever since. How
old were you?
I don't know, like 5. Wow. I really don't know, like really young.
So did you start singing first?
Yeah.
Okay.
I always loved singing, and there's like, it's something that I did without thinking, really.
Okay.
Like, you know, when you're washing dishes and you're humming and you don't really realize you're humming, I still do that. Like, I start singing randomly and I don't even realize I'm singing. So I feel like it's something that I've always loved doing, unconsciously, subconsciously, whatever. And when my dad started showing me a lot of music when I was really young, because he listens to like everything.
Wow.
So he showed me stuff like right from like the 60s up until the early 2000s. And he would like, we'd go by each decade and he'd be like, this is my favorite artist, and I love this artist, and you know, all that. Yeah.
Wow. So music lover. 100%.
Oh yeah, dude. He cried when Michael Jackson died. Like, he was bawling. And like when Prince died, stuff like that. Like that era, I feel like the 80s is like his thing, which makes sense because
right. I love the 80s.
Same.
I love the 80s.
I wish I was born in the 80s. Maybe I was. Who knows? I love that.
Sick. Yeah, I know that you also sort of started with playing bass. So.
I did, yeah. Fun fact. So when I was in 5th grade, like, just to like retract.
Yeah.
I used to sing and all this stuff, and I was a really depressed like young child. So I remember in 5th grade, my mom was like, why don't you start going to like a guitar class, and I was like, I mean, why not? That'd be sick. I'd love to play guitar. And I started going to these after school lessons at my school, and it was like a really good way for me to get out and like just focus on something that I love. It was boring as hell for the first like couple of months because you learn like scales and theory, and you're like, oh my god.
Right.
And teaching a fifth grader that, I was like,
oh man, they hate
I would
it.
say I was very patient.
Okay.
I'm gonna compliment myself right there.
Okay.
And say that I was pretty patient, but that was something that I started doing, and then I was in that particular place for about 3 years, I think. So towards the end of 6th grade and the beginning of 7th grade, we had this school band, and we were like sort of a Metallica cover band. We were called Metaloids.
Oh,
That's so lame. I'm so sorry.
what a name.
No, I am so proud of us. Like, we were great. And I used to play guitar in that band, and I would play
Nice.
bass. I started learning how to play bass too, because I thought that it was just like, every time I listen to music, the thing I listen to the most is bass. I love bass. Like,
It's nice.
if there's a good bass in the track, it's
You're like,
you know?
yeah,
And I make sure I do that to my tracks too now.
nice.
But we were in a Metallica cover band. We would like cover Iron Maiden, Metallica, Green Day,
Wow.
stuff like that. And I never really sung when I was in that band because I was really shy.
Well,
Like,
not even background.
no,
nothing.
like I was
Wow.
really shy to the point where like I would want to throw up if someone told me to sing. It would like,
Oh.
and one day we would do like gigs here and there for school and for other things that our music teacher would get us. And this one day we're like at a theater when we were playing, and my music teacher was like, "Hey, you're about to sing alone," and I was like, "No, are you kidding me?"
Wait, did he push you to sing?
Yes.
Like, just, hey, you're gonna sing this song. Okay. Or did you pick the song?
I used to sing that song all the time.
Okay.
It was Straight from the Heart by Bryan Adams.
Oh.
And he was like, "You have to sing. You're going to sing." And I was like, okay. And I knew like it was coming up. We were playing all these other songs, and I was like, I was like pale.
Oh.
I had no blood in my face. Like, I was so scared.
Dude, you know what's funny? For me, it's the total opposite. I get like a tomato. Like, I'm just red.
I
Like,
lose all color.
dude, and I wish sort of like, I don't know, like becoming a tomato, like a literally like
That's so
a
cute.
It is so funny because everyone just can tell immediately. Everyone's like, oh, she's embarrassed.
For me, it looks like I'm about to like
Pass
die.
out.
No, like I have like a nice brown skin, and I become white. Like,
Wow.
it was so scary. But right before I went on, like I was setting up my mic and I was checking it. I was like, check, and and he was like, say it louder. I'm like, check. And I sung, and it was surreal.
Wow.
Just accompanying myself with my guitar, and I had this like Epiphone. And I was just like, it was the best feeling ever. And I was like, I don't know how, but I'm going to do this somehow.
Yes.
Like, this is beautiful.
So that's when it started.
Really,
Sorry.
yeah.
Wow.
Around that time, I was like, no way I'm pursuing anything else. No way that I can be this passionate about anything else in my entire life. Like, I don't think I've ever loved, this is like kind of toxic, but I don't think I've ever loved anything or anyone more than I love music.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
just my best friend.
Why do you think it's toxic?
Well, I feel like extremes are always toxic.
I agree. I agree.
Like, it doesn't matter what it is. If it's to an extreme, I think it's toxic.
I agree.
But it's just the relationship I have with it. So.
With your career.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Well, I love that. I want to know a little more about what brought you to LA.
Right.
Because the Fireplace Studios is located in LA. So
I'm here.
yeah. So I want to know, also, you haven't told us where you're from.
India. I did.
You did?
Yeah. In the
Oh my
beginning.
God. Sorry, guys. I'm totally just spacing out on that.
You're
but
okay.
we do want to know, I do want to know, what brought you here, and, how was the transition, from India to here? Yeah.
So yeah, I started like singing more live and stuff. And I remember I was like 14 and I had this like horrible fight with my dad. I'll explain this more later, but I wrote Feel Better as my first song.
Ooh.
And songwriting was like so natural. It just happened. Like I like, it feels like I'm possessed when I songwrite. I couldn't tell you like what I felt like in the moment when I'm writing like a song. You could name any of them. I'm like, I don't fucking remember. Because it's like, I don't know where I go. It's like I'm in a different dimension.
Yeah.
And it just comes out. It's like vomit. Like it's just out, you know?
You just are in another dimension and you just go.
Literally, dude. That's what it is. And
I just manifest this in this world.
Yeah.
You know? I love
it's
that.
beautiful. And I started looking into like research and music business and where I should be if I want to pursue a career like this. And I looked at LA. I looked at other places too, New York City, Nashville, but I felt like I don't necessarily make music in those genres that are prevalent there. And I felt like LA would be the best for someone like me. And I was like, I'm going to go to school there.
Wow.
And I remember I was like in 10th grade, I was 16. And one night my dad and I were sitting together and I was like, I'm going to LA. And he looked at me, he was like, what? No, imagine your 16-year-old kid telling you they are going to like the opposite side of the world.
Wow.
He was like, no. I was like, we'll see about it.
You were committed. You were like, this.
No,
is
I knew.
happen.
I knew. There was no way I wasn't coming here. No way. Like, no fucking way. I was so like
determined. Yeah.
And I had to prove myself to my parents for them to trust me enough. Naturally, like you have to like do something to gain their confidence and they know that you're serious about this.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I can't make them feel what I feel, but I can show them. And I got like a few things. Like I remember one of my music videos was aired on VH1 India. And I got a few articles and stuff and they were like, oh, you're really doing this. And I was like, yeah.
Was that by yourself? Like, did you? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I researched the shit out of it. I was like, how?
Look at you.
I'm not signed to a label, so how do I do it myself? And I kind of figured a lot of that shit out. And then my parents were like, yeah, we trust you.
I love that.
We believe in you. And
you prove yourself.
Yeah, and even to this day, like, I think I talk to my mom every single day and my dad, like, every other week. They're so supportive. They're so supportive, and it's a blessing that they are like have so much faith in me that they're not worried about me here. Wow. And that gives me a lot of self-confidence.
Absolutely. And just a peace, right?
Yeah.
To know that you have their back.
Really?
Yeah, if you need them for anything. So
definitely.
That's great. That's great to have.
Definitely. Yeah.
Especially as an artist and someone that lives in another country alone.
True.
You need that like almost
Very
like
true.
backbone.
Yeah.
You know. That's really cool. Okay, so I know that you're very spoken about the LGBT community. So I want to dig into that a little more.
Well, ever since I was really young, I always had like a hunch. I was like, I don't know, like this is not something that I've really been told is okay with society in general, and especially where I'm from. Like, it's not like a common concept.
Right. It's still up to this day. I feel like it's because I'm from Peru as well, so it's also very like people would judge it, you know.
True, exactly. So it's not even about judgment. I feel like it's like there's a gap in understanding. I feel like it's just hard to fathom for certain generations and people from certain areas because it's just such a taboo.
Right.
Like it's like so unnatural. Like how is that possible, you know? It's just that something they don't understand. So I don't blame them necessarily, but also like it was kind of scary when I was growing up because I didn't really want to accept it.
Okay.
Because I was like, what if I just like, you know, don't feel it anymore?
So you were trying to convince yourself. Oh, interesting.
And it was like really hard actually. And I was struggling a lot with that too, with like other mental health struggles. And I was just like, one day I was just like, hey, you know, it's okay. It's really okay. It's who you are. It's, you can't change who you are born as. Like,
right.
I can't I can't like rewire my brain to be a certain way. That is how I am.
Exactly.
So I watched like a shit ton of YouTube videos about like LGBT awareness and people talking about their experiences, and I was like, wow, okay, like, this is beautiful. And I remember I came out to my brother first. I think I was in 11th grade,
Okay.
like 17 or something. And I told him, and his reaction was, I know. And I was like, wow, homie, you just really like.
I love that. Like, he was just like, oh yeah, I saw it. Like, you know.
He knew. It wasn't even. There wasn't like even not even slight shock. It was just like, I know. And it was hilarious to me because he was like, I'm proud of you, blah blah blah.
Aww.
But I know, I've been known, and I was like, man,
He was like, I was waiting until you said something.
literally, yeah.
Wow.
And I do identify as pansexual, so just putting that out there. And I also then came out to my mom. I remember I was like, I can't take it. I'm very close to my mom. And I felt like I can't like not have her know something that's so personal to me.
Right.
And I told her, I was like, let's go on a drive, because we would go on drives all the time.
Oh.
And we went on a drive, and I literally like stopped her in the middle of the road, and I was like, I have to tell you something. And I told her. And at first, like, she was a little shocked, kind of. But she didn't have a bad reaction at all. I was like, take your time to process it, whatever.
Right. She was just listening at that point.
And then she wrote me this like essay of an email about how I'm beautiful however I am. She loves me no matter what. Like, she doesn't think that. She was like, don't think this is gonna change anything. Like, I love you dearly and deeply. And it was,
wow,
that's
what
like
a great mom.
Grade A parent right there.
Yes.
Like, she
Yes.
that wow, like, I cried so much after I read that email. I was like, first of all, why am I getting an email from my mother? I'm like, old school much? Okay.
Honestly, but also maybe it's her way of she can communicate better through text and writing, and I feel like I'm sort of the same way. I've been trying to be better at that, at like just saying how I feel with words, or like in person. But I feel like for me, it definitely comes. It's much easier through text or through writing something.
I love that.
A letter or something. So
yeah,
maybe.
So
that's funny.
That was like that was probably the best reaction I could have gotten. So
that's so sweet.
But it's something that is a lifestyle. Like, it's my way of living. You know, it's how I work. So just I feel like I don't need to hide it from anyone.
No, you should not. You should never.
Yeah,
just be yourself.
I had to make her understand that what pansexual meant, because she was so confused.
Okay. So what do you tell her?
She was like, pans? What? I'm like, no.
Wait, so did you explain?
I told her I don't care about gender.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she understood?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she was like, cool. And I was like, yeah. So.
Yeah, so I am also gay and part of the community, so let's go.
Woo!
And yeah. I will at some point say my story, but right now it's all about you. So we're gonna focus on you.
Excited to hear your story one day.
Okay, so I want to dig into the songs that you performed for us. I would love to know, just your songwriting process and what inspired you to make these songs.
So for Feel Better,
yes,
like I said before, I had like an argument with my dad, and I was like angsty, and I was like, don't tell me what to do, and blah blah blah. I was a very rebellious child. I still am. I don't like to be told what to do, so I'm like, don't. And then I just went to my room, I closed my door, and I started like this 4-chord progression on a C# minor, I think. And nice. I was like, this is cool. And then I started writing, and like I said, like I was hypnotized. Like, it was like I was in another dimension. It just comes out. And it's
Does that happen every time you write a song?
not always.
Okay.
Not always. But it's happened with the songs I like most.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But a lot of times, like, I have to, like, I have writer's block. I have to, like, think and, you know, push myself to come up with something. But for the songs I played for you, that was not, it was just like, oh, sick, you know? Like, that's coming out. It's just like, I feel like it's just my way of feeling my emotions.
Okay.
Because I'm bad at it. Like, I'm really good at being like, I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm doing great. And not really saying what's wrong. I'm getting better.
Nice.
But at saying I'm not okay sometimes, you know? Because it's okay to not be okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I really, like, hold back on a lot of thoughts I have. So I feel like it's my way of really telling myself how I feel.
I see. And letting that feeling kind of like go, right? Just like writing it and like letting it all out and then just being like, okay.
Pretty much, yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
And it's like the most beautiful experience for me. And Feel Better was like literally what I said. I was just in my room and I was like, I just want to feel better. And I texted that to my friend. I was like, I just want to feel better. And I was like,
gorgeous song.
no, wait. You know how like there's like,
dude, I literally have it in my head. I like literally your songs are so catchy. I love them so much.
I love you.
Oh. I don't know how to do it. Anyway.
But like I was just like, I texted my friend, I just want to feel better. And it was like a meme moment from like songwriter parodies where it's like you say anything and they're like, that's a song. And I just went, and I just want to feel better. Feel better.
Wow.
And I was like, this is it. this is what it's supposed to be. Even if it's corny, even if it's shitty.
No, it's not corny at all. I think it's a great song. I think it's a great song.
Thank you. 14-year-old me would be really happy to hear
Wow.
that.
14. That's great. Wow.
No, I love that song now. I hated it for a while because, you know, that happens. When you start making more music, your older stuff feels like bad sometimes. I'm like, no, better. But now I'm like, I really like that song.
It's a great song.
And it came from a place of a lot of emotion. So
nice.
Yeah. So that was really Feel Better. It's what it is. Like, it's in the name. That's what the song is about.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. What about your other song?
Lay With Me.
Lay With Me.
The
yes.
tea.
The tea. The actual tea.
Yeah. So I wrote this song for a guy that I was dating last year. And we were like this in like this really long situationship. Like that started in the beginning of last year. And towards the end, we were like official.
Oh.
It was like a fucking rocky ride.
Whoa.
To that point. Like, I can't believe I did that to myself, but it's okay, you know?
It happens. It happens.
Fall in love, you become crazy.
It happens, you know, but you apparently got out of it and
I did.
Yeah.
So I wrote this song for him when we were at a really good place. And I remember I just got off the phone with him and we had this really nice conversation about how, like, we feel about each other and how I'm so grateful to have him in my life and he's so grateful to have me in his life and stuff like that. And I was playing my roommate's guitar. Shout out Olivia. And I just wanted to, like I said, like put out what I feel because it's hard.
Right.
And it was just lay with me because he would say that to me all the time. Every time we were together, he would be like, come lay with me. Won't you lay with me? Can you just lay with me, you know? And I would like get up to get dressed for school or something. And he'd be like, come lay with me for a sec. I'm like, I'm late. So I was like, I'm going to use your tagline.
Oh, man.
So originally I wrote this song just for him to have it. Like, I was like, this is for you and you can have it. And I'm never going to put it out.
Personal. It's private.
Yeah. But then he cheated on me.
Oh, no.
So I was like, I need to, no, you don't deserve it.
You need to do something with it.
Yeah, you don't deserve it. So, yeah, I decided to share it with the world because it's really, I feel like it's a beautiful song about how I'm with you right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm willing to be with you forever.
Mm-hmm.
But if we don't end up doing that for some reason, you're always going to have a piece of my heart,
Wow.
which is true.
Wow.
And I love very dearly
Mm-hmm.
whenever I love someone. Like
That's good.
very dear. I'm a very sensitive
That's
and
good.
emotional
No, that's
person. Sometimes or it can be bad, but it's okay. And I just really feel like it's something a lot of people would relate to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like about a really simple lifestyle of
Mm.
experiencing love.
Mm.
And I read this quote the other day, and it said that love is something that is meant to be experienced and lived.
Mm-hmm.
Love doesn't hurt, our attachment hurts.
Nice.
And
wow.
I agree with that so much. Like,
Firmly agree.
it's the attachment that really hurts. You're attached to
Absolutely.
this person, and you know,
Absolutely.
you're an avid part of their lives. So
Mhm.
of course, like, there's going to be attachment, but love is something so serene and beautiful.
Mhm.
Love can cause no pain.
Absolutely.
Attachment
It's-
does.
Yes, it's because the expectations, and also I think if you just love someone unconditionally, it doesn't really, and you want the best for them.
Exactly.
It's you almost like know that you can let them go
Exactly.
any moment,
Yeah.
and you're gonna be just happy for them.
Exactly.
Either way,
I
you know.
totally feel that. Yeah, but that's really what that song is about. And I am never going to have any negative feelings towards this person,
Nice.
even though he hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's not worth it.
I feel like holding resentment or anger or grudges against people is just going to drain my energy
Right.
and my inner peace.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want that.
It's
Like,
not worth it.
It's really not worth it. Like,
No.
I think it's better for me and for them if I just like am able to move on from it. It's just an experience that I lived through.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's not the end of the world.
That's true.
It's painful. Of course, it's beyond painful, but there's beauty
There's
in
beauty
that too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's supposed to be something you live through, you know?
Absolutely. And learn.
Yeah,
And grow
of course.
afterwards.
Of course.
Yes.
It's such an important... I've grown so much from that. So I'm grateful for that experience, even though it was unnecessary. I wish it didn't happen. But part of me is like, that's something that helped me become the person I am right now.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah.
That is
And
very
I
true.
really value it.
Yes.
Every second of it.
Wow. Wow. No, for real. You're only 20, which that's great that you know this, you know, for a fact, and you like have internalized your feelings, and you like know your feelings very well. Even though you said that you're still working on being better with your feelings.
I'm working
but
on it.
I think you're doing a great job. So.
Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate that. Wow.
Yeah.
Needed to hear that.
You did mention that you struggle with some mental health issues, and
Mm-hmm.
I would love to know more about that. Like, how's your journey with
Mhm.
that? Like, how's it been?
I feel like it's something I've always like really struggled with.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since I was really young. I remember the first time I was ever confronted with it was I was in 6th grade. And I love how my stories go back in time. I was like, back in my day.
That's really cool, though. I love to hear stories. So.
Dude, I remember everything. My memories,
Wow.
like, I remember like exact moments. Like, I can picture moments in my mind.
Wow.
It's so
you
weird.
can be really detailed
Yes.
about things.
That's why I'm
That's
like,
really
when
cool.
I was in 6th grade.
What were you doing? You remember?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
Tell
my
us.
math teacher, she was like awesome. Like one of the best teachers I've ever had. And I hate math. Shocker, I'm Indian. Oh, I hate math. But I suck at it and I hate math. And I loved her though. And I loved studying because of her. And I remember one day after class, during like our break time, she called me to her like room and she was like, I just want to talk to you. And I was like, okay. Like, I'm 12. Literally, I'm 12. And she was like, are you okay? Is everything okay? And I was like, yeah, what happened? And she was like, you're just like, I don't know what happened. Like, last year you were so chirpy and now you're just like really mellowed out, like, and you're so young, like, did something happen to you? Is everything, she was just like checking in to make sure that nothing bad had happened. And nothing bad had happened. I think it was just like something that, I don't know, really. I just went downhill somehow. And that was the first time I didn't really say much to her because I didn't know what to say. And I've never told this to anyone, actually. And I just went home and I was like, what's wrong with me? I am not like other people. It's like, yeah, now that I look into it, I'm kind of like pretty off. I don't really have friends at all. Like, what's wrong with me? And kind of let that thought go for a really long time. And then it was always like up and down and up and down. Like growing up, we moved every 2 years because my dad's in the army.
Wow.
So I never really had like friends, solid friends, because you would move, and especially when you're younger,
it's hard to make like connections or like stick to friends.
Exactly.
Like have friends stick around because like you were moving so much.
And when I was like around 12, social media wasn't like that popular amongst people of my age group. Oh my god, I'm ancient and I'm not. I'm so young. But like it was like that, like growing up, like we weren't really on our phones that much, to be fair. Like, and then later on I have like 2 friends back home that I really love, that I'm still in touch with, and I met them in like 8th grade. And like I've really always I think they're always going to be a part of my life because it's been years now.
Yes.
And I've moved so much. And I feel like I was very used to being alone and by myself. And I had a great time on my own. Like, I loved being alone. But at the same time, like I said, anything that's extreme is toxic.
Right.
So when I'm making an active effort to be alone all the time, that's not super healthy for my mental health. And especially at an impressionable young age like that. So I kind of like kept going really downhill like from that moment on. And in about like when I was 14, like when I started songwriting, and around that time I kind of realized, oh, I'm depressed. Like I'm not self-diagnosing, but I think I'm pretty fucking depressed. And never really, I think I talked to my mom about it a little bit, and like in passing, and she was like, oh my god, like, can I do anything to help you? And I was like, no, it's fine, I'll be fine, you know.
Right, you were just kind of like suppressing the feeling, ignoring it a little bit,
pretty much. And I wish I didn't, because if I'd gotten help, I feel like if I'd gotten help, maybe I would be better now. Because it's just, I have such a hard time being comfortable with myself sometimes, like just accepting who I am as a person in more ways than one. I'm like, why, if I would just say something and I'd be like, why did I say that? Like, what's wrong with me? You know, over analyzing every conversation. Even like talking to you right now, I say something and I'm like, what? That's lame. Shouldn't have said that. And
you're doing great.
Thank you. You're an amazing host. So I think I was in around 10th grade around this time, and I was living with my mom, and I told her that, hey, it's getting bad. Like, something like really bad's gonna happen if you don't help me right now. And she was like, no, okay, let's take you to a psychiatrist and see what's wrong. Because, you know, she would also notice.
Right.
Like, I lived with her, so she would notice how I was behaving. So it wasn't like, what are you talking about? It was like, okay. But even still, when I was depressed, I would like try to make everyone else happy. It's just something I've always like loved doing. I like to think that I'm a people pleaser, which is not good, but I feel like I just want everyone around me to be happy. And I do like everything I can to do that. I'm getting better at prioritizing myself now. Now I'm like, no, wait, fuck that.
Good.
Like, I need to have my space. I need to do my shit. I can't be prioritizing everyone else above me all the fucking time. It's exhausting.
Yes.
And having done that ever since I was like very, very young is like so much pressure on such a small brain. Like,
absolutely.
I just want to go back in time and hug my younger self and be like, honey, like, chill, like, it's okay.
Yeah.
You don't need to be doing this. And we went to the psychiatrist, and she told us that she diagnosed me with major depressive disorder and psychosis, which I did not know because I thought I was normal. But apparently I had a few symptoms that led her to diagnose me with that. So it was scary.
Right.
Because of all the stigma that's around this particular, both of these illnesses. It's like, you know, you're pretending, or like you're crazy.
Oh, I see.
And it could be it's either like, oh, you're depressed, you're pretending, like, no, it's not real. Or, oh, you're crazy, you're batshit crazy, like, what are you doing? Like, you're mentally ill. Like, yeah, who isn't?
Right. For real, who isn't?
I feel like really though, who isn't? Like, look at how the world is right now.
Everyone struggles with mental health issues,
everyone has their own struggles. Like, you're battling to like be the perfect version of yourself every single day.
Absolutely.
And especially like people in the music industry, I feel like record labels should have like a mental health department where like they take care of their artists, because this shit is hard.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
I literally yesterday I talked to my mom in the morning, and I just called her and I was bawling, and I was just burnt out. And I was like, hey, I like need words of wisdom. I need like some encouragement, because I am like crashing and burning, and that happens to me often.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like it happens to a lot of like everyone, you know, it happens to everyone. So
it's understandable.
I think it, you know, people should understand, people that don't understand what, like, you know, mental health issues, and they think it's all made up, they should definitely get into, I don't know, just be more knowledgeable about these mental health issues, and then just learn, because I think, you know, it can be really toxic to be with someone that doesn't understand, or doesn't want to try to understand someone,
or just
because sometimes it's like things that like certain behaviors that you can't control, that it comes from like you know, anxiety, or like, I don't know, like OCD, or like, you know, it can be anything, but it can be behaviors that like you don't mean to do these things, but like it's just you're aware and you try not to. But I feel like some people are like, oh, why do you do these things? And it's like, well, I'm trying to be better, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I think people definitely should be more aware. But I definitely wasn't when I was 20. It's not that I would judge someone, but I was definitely dating someone that I didn't understand, and I think I didn't want to understand, and I was kind of harsh on them because of that. And now that I know better, I'm like, wow, I should have looked into this and try to understand, instead of being like, oh, what, like, just kind of like, kind of like making her feel bad that she was like, she had you know, mental health issues, and that's the worst thing. But
it's like, I'm so proud of you for growing and understanding and recognizing that thing, like that one thing that you did wrong,
right?
Like, it's so easy to go out there and just judge people, right? Because you don't know what the fuck they've been through. Like, I don't know what the fuck you've been through,
right?
You could, like, I couldn't even imagine, like, maybe nothing, maybe so much.
That's true.
Like, I think that, especially with like social media and everything now, everything is so like camouflaged.
Yeah, you can portray anything.
You can I could be living the best life ever according to people. Like, so many influencers like post like these pictures from parties, and like they're like out every night. Maybe they're like really fucking depressed and they can't even be sober around themselves.
Absolutely.
And that's something they need to do, like addiction and so many things. I just feel like not being judgmental, trying to like, not really, you don't have to understand everyone you meet in your life.
Absolutely.
But just maybe have some grace,
like sympathy, like, you know? Yeah.
Be kind. Yeah, it's kind. Not hard.
Yeah.
You shouldn't, like, if you're meeting someone for the first time and maybe they act out or something, Like, okay, I'm gonna give you like a great example.
Okay.
Celebrities.
Right.
You imagine I run into like a major celebrity. I run into like Jennifer Aniston or something.
Okay.
And she is having the worst day of her life. And I'm like, hey, can I get a picture? And she just says no. And that's all she says to me. Nothing else. She wasn't rude or anything. And I'm going to be like, wow, she's a fucking bitch. But maybe she's having like a really hard day.
You give people the benefit of the doubt, for sure. I definitely give
Dude.
people chances. And like, I'm like, well, if I met you and you were like, you know, you were crazy or like you treated me badly, I won't take it personal. I'm just going to be like, huh, interesting.
Dude.
And then maybe next time that I meet you, it's incredible.
Exactly.
And then maybe even they realize and they apologize or whatever. They don't have to apologize, but I definitely do. I think that's a good thing to do. Just
of course, recognizing your mistakes and noticing where you act out and you're disrespectful to someone, apologizing is always necessary.
Yes. Now, if they acted out and then the second time they did the same, I'm like, yeah,
no, fuck
honey.
that. No, I get that. That's totally understandable. I feel that.
Or I don't know. I mean, I would still give them another chance, but you know, you have to also be sort of careful with.
Yeah. But that's like how I was talking about songwriting earlier. Like it's my outlet.
Right.
So I have a way to, you know, let it all out. And I can say whatever I want to. And maybe I'm willing to share it with the world. Maybe I'm not. I'm not going to put out like half the songs I've written because I don't want to share it. Maybe one day I will.
Wow.
Like I
would love to hear all of it. I think your songwriting is amazing. So
you're awesome, Ella. Thank you.
I'm serious. I love your voice and your songwriting and your song. So I think I just want to hear it all, you know?
That's so sweet.
So talking about that, I would love to know your future plans. If you have any upcoming singles, an album, if you have upcoming gigs too. Yeah.
Well, I have a few songs that I'm going to put out, I think, in the summer of this year. And including Lay With Me. So you got the exclusive on that one.
Yay. Love that.
It's not out yet, but it's going to be. So I'm very excited about that, the whole thing. I'm excited for that to be out. And, you know, it's like a really good feeling when you put songs out because then it's like, wow, it's done, you know? It's over. And you accept it. You're like, you worked on this song, you made it, and it's out.
In the world.
Yeah. In the world for anyone to listen. Like, anyone. There's like...
To hear your thoughts and your, sort of like your diary, right? Like
it's like 7 billion people out there, dude. Like sometimes I check my Spotify. I don't have like huge numbers, but I would see like I would see the countries that my songs were played in, and sometimes it's like the middle of nowhere.
You're like, what?
Literally, I'm like,
that's your target.
who in like this like
Random.
literally nowhere is listening to my music? Why? Like I remember whenever I see plays from Russia, I'm like, what? It's so like far away. So I'm like, what the hell? But yeah, it's a gratifying feeling and I'm very excited to put out everything that I have made so far.
Awesome. When is it coming out?
It's this summer.
This summer.
Yeah.
Ooh, so super soon.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for that. Do you have any upcoming gigs as well?
I do.
Okay.
So, oh my God, I love playing live. It's like, oh, it's beautiful.
Your beautiful life. So. Okay.
You're so nice. So the gig I have coming up would be at the Old Town Pub on May 28th.
Nice.
And I'm very excited.
So soon.
I'm going to manifest right here.
Yes.
That I'm going to play the Kia Forum one day.
Woo! Let's go.
I'm going to do it right here.
Yes.
Sold out show at Kia Forum.
Nice.
So stupid.
No, but it's a good goal to have, you know, and it's I think it's attainable. So you're gonna do it.
Very excited.
Sweet. Would you like to tell everyone your socials and where they can follow you, hear your music, just everything, so they can go and, you know, hear your music?
Yes. So I'm Izora, if you didn't catch that already. On all streaming platforms, it will be Izora, IZORA. And on Instagram, it's Izora, EYEZORA. Twitter, Izora Music. And reach out to me if you ever want to talk, because I'm always willing to.
Woo! Thank you so much for being here again. And we loved having you. You're incredible. And go follow her everywhere. And thank you so much for watching and listening to the Fireplace podcast.
Go follow the Fireplace everywhere.
Woo!